Blutbart.
Hello and welcome back to another behind the scenes toy photography video. This week I'll show you how to create a set with nothing but broken concrete. I call this shot Into the Fray II. Last year I took a photo of Anakin Skywalker leading his clone troopers into battle, and while I felt it was a decent photo at the time, I thought I could improve on the concept with another iteration. I began by laying some broken paving stones in front of a stock image of an explosion to set the scene. I was imagining a battlefield strewn with rubble, so I scattered the concrete haphazardly around my stage, while still creating some flat surfaces for my toys to stand on. I positioned several backlights to simulate the glow of the explosion, then posed Anakin right in the middle of my frame. I thought my last attempt could have been more dramatic, so this time I used a figure with a wired cape, posing it to look like it was blowing in the wind. Since Anakin had now become Darth Vader, I filled out the scene with Imperial stormtroopers instead of clones. In an effort to create some depth, I positioned my troopers both closer to and further away from my lens than Anakin, using an f-stop of 11 and a long focal length to create a shallow depth of field. Finally, I completed the scene with some additional lighting. I added another panel light for the explosion, then positioned two small spotlights to create some selective glow on two of my action figures. Here's my starting image. My main goal for the edit was to add special effects, but first I began by adding adjustment layers to fine-tune my color grading. Next, I used the healing brush tool and content aware fill to fill in some gaps I didn't notice in my background, and to remove the articulation joints on my toys. Following that, I used the pen tool and brush tool to draw in the lightsaber blades. Using essentially the same technique, I also stamped in some sparks, added muzzle flash to the troopers' rifles, and created some blaster bolts. I added some motion blur on the blaster bolts to make them look like they were traveling at high speeds. Finally, I painted in the lights on Vader's belt and chest plate and used custom brushes to add in some smoke. I could have used some atmosphere spray to add the smoke in camera, but I tend to shoot with a low ISO, which necessitates a slow shutter speed. So once again, here's my starting image. And here's where I ended up. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing, and make sure to check me out on Instagram. Thanks, and until next time.